Hello YouTube audience. Today I would like to take a look at this tree. It's a Morning Cloud Chitalpa, and here is the name, and you can see the flower looks extremely beautiful. It is said that it's one of the favorite of hummingbirds. Um, and I got this tree last winter, and it is a very kind of a new species. It is a cross between desert willow and catalpa, and it was made in the 1960s in the Soviet Union and brought to the United States in 1977. And I think I will attach a link of the introduction of the growing habit, and the history of this very interesting tree in the description. Unfortunately, this year it didn't flower. It may be still too young. Um, and so one of the thing about this tree is it is a cross between two genus of tree. So it cannot produce fruit. It would not produce seed. It can only be propagated asexually, either by cutting or by air layering. So you can see this tree is maybe 8 feet tall. So it's way too tall for bonsai. But what attract me in this tree is this branch right near the base. You can see the nice movement of this almost cascading branch. It's full of the characteristic of a literati tree. So maybe this part can be made into a bonsai, and all the top was basically sacrificial. It has made the trunk thick enough to start even refining. So this is the trunk of the tree, and there is this little silver birch growing in the pot. So what I'm going to do with the top, I had did a air layering maybe in June, and you can see it is currently already rooted. So I can see if you can take a look, you can see it is in fact full of roots. So I think it is ready for separation. So I'm going to separate it pretty soon. And one of the things I see with the air layering was, so you can see I did a air layering here, and right under it there are all these shoots coming out, and it happened after I cut the cambium of the part above it, and the shoots start coming out under the air layer. So before that it was only the top, so you have some branching, and then under it it's all just a straight trunk all the way to this lower branch. So I was thinking I would make the top into maybe a broom style tree and the bottom into a literati, and just get rid of all this middle of the tree. But then after I make the layering, it start sprouting new shoots right under the air layering like crazy. So it is in fact possible now to make the middle part into a garden tree. It's a pretty nice garden tree, and I think I may do it. That kind of demonstrates one of the advantage of doing air layering before you cut a major trunk or major branch. It is not just to give you a new tree, but also because a tree, they normally want to grow into a tall tree to compete for sunlight, and so the top of the tree, the growing tip of the tree, is going to send signals, hormones, down the trunk and inhibit the growth of branches under it. And they send these signals through the cambium layer. So once the cambium layer is cut, suddenly they feel that there was no inhibition sent from the top anymore. So it used to has no branching in this middle part of the tree. Suddenly when you make the air layering, it starts branching like crazy right under the air layering. And when the top growth is established, it sends an inhibiting signal to inhibit the growth under too. So you can see this little tip was going to grow, but it is slow, so it was inhibited by this top growth. So this shoot was trying to sprout, but it stopped because it was inhibited. So this advantage of taking air layering here is that it almost like doing a semi-cut of the branch. Sometimes when we cut a major branch, we risk of major dieback because there are no longer leaves in a long section of the branch to draw sap to that part of the tree, and the whole branch or the whole trunk may die back. And by doing a air layering, the top of the tree is still drawing water and drawing nutrition, but it's no longer giving back energy and hormones they produce to the root. So the root has to adapt and grow more branches under the air layering. So it is kind of almost like half cut, a semi-cut of a major branch, and the tree will adjust and adapt to the change and make new branches under it. So when this major branch was finally cut, it has, I would think that it would have much lower chance of dying back. It's literally impossible for it to die back because now it has so many leaves and branches to draw the water and draw the saps and new nutritions to the top of the tree, and it stimulate a lot of new branching. So I think I will cut off the top part and planted it, and then I will make an air layer right above this curve. So here is a movement, and by the way, this curvature is all natural. There's no wiring done to it. I saw it in the nursery, and it was already like that. So it is very pretty, very beautiful. and then there is curvature here, and when it go further up, there's no longer curvature, it's just a straight trunk. So I'm going to do a air layer right after the curvature end, and maybe this year it's probably don't have enough time to sprout new shoots or to have roots anymore, but we can wait for next year, and maybe the middle part can be made into a garden tree. I don't have a garden, so I cannot plant this garden tree somewhere in the garden, but I can give it away to someone else. So this is the first look of this Morning Cloud Chitalpa tree, and I'm going to probably separate the air layer and try to plant it pretty soon. It is the second day, and I saw off the top of this tree and the air layering, and we planted up in some bonsai soil in this net pot, which is full of holes. These holes is going to encourage root growth, and I put in 3 wires and tied them to each side of the pot to stabilize the tree before the root get established. This will prevent the tree from tipping over by the wind, and hopefully this tree would survive. It is still a little bit early to separate the air layering, because we still have several hot days ahead of us. Although it's early September, we still have even in the next week we still have a 30 degrees C day, which is almost 70-80 Fahrenheit. So with the limited amount of root this air layering has, it would have some difficulty surviving the hot days. So it may be better to wait for maybe 2 more weeks before separating, but who knows what the weather would look like. So I decided to separate right now and hope that it would survive, and hopefully before the winter comes it would have established roots. That's the hope. And this is the tree, the original tree, and the top was sawed off, and I kind of sealed the top with some sealant, the black stuff. Basically seal the top to prevent water loss and also maybe infection. And here I also reuse the material that the plastic bag, the aluminum foil, and the wire, and some of old sphagnum moss to make another air layering here, just right above where I'm going to make the literati style tree. And so this is kind of late in the season to make new air layering, because the growth of the leaves is the driving force for the air layering to generate new roots. These leaves will produce hormones to instruct root growth, the sugars, building blocks, energies to allow the roots to grow. So we may still have 1 month of growing season. It is too little time to have new roots generated for the air layering. So it's probably we would need to separate maybe next summer, which in terms of time it's a little bit longer. If we do it in early summer, we have the whole growing season and have the heat, we may be able to harvest the air layer in maybe fall. But if we do it in late summer, we probably would need to wait for the next year. But it's okay, we will see what happens. So this year I probably will not check this air layer anymore. We will wait for next year to check the roots. It's probably too late for new root to generate. It may start, but I doubt that it's going to grow enough root for separation this year. So this is basically the update of this tree, and basically the top I'm trying to develop into a broom style tree, and the middle would be some kind of a normal garden tree, and the bottom I would like to make into a kind of literati style tree. So we will wait and see. So first thing would be, I hope this would survive, and next year, so the leaves is going to fall pretty soon, but as the leaf fall, they are going to take back all the green pigment and convert it to energy and store it into the root. So in the fall is a prime growing season of the root. So I hope that this would survive the hot days and get the root established and prepare itself for the winter. And if it survives the winter, next year it may have new shoots come out, and we can I may just let it grow for a season, and maybe after that, later in the growing season, I may do some pruning and styling of the tree. But basically the tree is already here. So you can see the broom style. It is already, the structure is already here, and that's why air layering is such a powerful way of making bonsai, because a lot of the times you can take a garden tree which is already pretty big and air layer them into your desired height and your desired style. So I think this is the video, and I hope you take care of yourself, and I will see you next time. Bye.